Low-key Eid celebrations expected amid rising cost of living. Gunmen kidnapped Phony Group MD, two others in Lagos, demand $1.5 million ransom. Nigeria's headline inflation rises to 33.95% in May. Another foreign scene, surge in rebel attacks sparks deadly protests in eastern DR Congo. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Update. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Welcome, thanks for joining us. Now the news. With less than 24 hours to Eid el-Kabir festival, residents of Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, are facing difficulties to purchase a ram due to economic hardship. Adamu Ngolde speaks to some buyers at the market. Here's a report.
This is the sight and sound of Enono Market along Maiduguri Kano Road. The market serves as central market to the densely populated Bulunkutu general area where Muslims usually purchase rams. But this year, the market observed low patronage due to lack of purchasing power caused by the economic reforms of the current administration. When Trust TV visited Bulunkutu Ram Market, buyers lamented how the cost of rams, sheep and foodstuff are beyond the reach of the common man. But the primary concern of Ibrahim Muhammad, a civil servant, is not even how well to celebrate Salah, but how to put 3 square meals on the table. I slaughtered a ram last year. I divided the meat with my relatives and neighbors. However, due to difficulties, I am unable to slaughter a ram this year. I just bought food items with my immediate family. As a civil servant, I cannot afford the ram this year because it is expensive. But we will continue to pray for our country as it faces untold hardships that disrupt our day-to-day activities. A resident, Bulama Mai, said, last year's Salah was better than this year. According to him, many cannot afford rams.
This one, as of last year, it is not up to 100,000. But now, 400,000. I even presented 350, but they refused. So they are looking for 400. So look at this one. As of last year, it is not up to 20 to 30,000.
A ram seller, Saliu Adam, said, patronage this year is very low. Look at these big and healthy rams. But there are no buyers. We expected buyers from cities and neighboring countries, but they are yet to arrive. About 5 years ago, majority of these rams were worth no more than 100,000 naira each, with the smallest ranging from 50,000 to 80,000 naira. One of the causes of this high cost of ram is banditry, which occurs in many sections of the northern state. Residents urge government to introduce policies that would alleviate their sufferings.
As Nigeria battles food shortages amidst tightening economic conditions, a group in Yola, Adamawa State, has re-echoed the need for an action plan to mitigate hunger and starvation in the country. This was part of a message to commemorate this year's World Day of Hunger. Gibson Saduigo has more.
The youths gathered at the Adamawa Unity Bridge to begin their peaceful walk against hunger amid 32.74% food inflation in Nigeria. Worried by the current indicators in the economy, their messages were clear on the imminent threats of hunger and starvation in the most populous black nation in the world. They loudly chanted, "Nigerians are only suffering and smiling." Andrew Musa, who is the leader of the group, expressed his dismay over some government policies, asserting that the policies are failing to address the needs of millions of Nigerians.
Today we have seen the hardship and the problem that the masses are suffering. The The government at hand now had already told us and promised the masses that they were going to make life easy for the masses. But what we are seeing today is different. There is hunger in the land. People barely feed once in a day. Today, if you bring out food to share, you see people rushing, men, women, and children. So that is why we are here today, to create awareness that the people are hungry. We want to remind them of the mandates that is being given to them.
Other members of the group say food insecurity can only be solved by a strong political will and the right workable policies.
So the hardship is becoming unbearable even to our parents, actually, because you get to find out some students that are supposed to be sent with food, and the shortage of foodstuffs is very high. So at some point, students suffered in school, actually. So we are calling on the government if they can look into it. We were being promised as students the student loan program, of which we have yet to see it happening in the country.
We plead that people will bring this, take away this fuel subsidy, so that food will be in the market and the cost price of food in the market will come down. Because if you go to the market, you cannot buy rice, you cannot buy maize, nothing at all that you can buy, because the money is too much. Especially we that are having plenty children, where do we run to?
A global hunger index report published in 2023 ranked Nigeria 109 out of 125 countries as one of the countries with the most hungry population in the world. Gibson Soadugu, Trust TV News, Yola.
Muslim pilgrims in Mecca on Saturday witnessed the most important day in the pilgrimage, Arafat Day, amidst prayers and supplication for God's mercy and blessings. Sharif Hassan, who is on the plain of Mount Arafat, tells us more on the significance of the day.
More than 1.5 million pilgrims across the world Friday night started another journey from Mina to Arafat for the second day of Hajj rituals. The day of Arafat, or Yom Arafat, is a very significant day in the lives of Muslims across the world. It is on this day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perfected and completed the religion of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, anyone who prays on the plain of Arafat, his prayers is as good and answered. But the most significant thing in all of this is that this day, the Arafat day, anyone who misses standing on the plain of Arafat here stands a chance of losing the entire pilgrimage. Throughout the day, pilgrims will be making supplications, praying to God and reciting the noble Quran in search of favor and praying to Almighty Allah for their different priorities in life.
So Arafat is the most important aspect of Hajj, is the peak of Hajj. So whoever finds himself here must thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the most important again is, after being on the Arafat, you are able to witness Arafat, and then go spare your life. You went back home. You are expected to be a clean person. You are not expected to go back to the sins that you have been committing before. So you see, once somebody is lucky, he was on Arafat and then he went back home and he continued his, he did not go back to his previous life, then it means he's a clean person, and inshallah you should expect that when he passes away, he's going to Jannah. One has no any other business except to pray. Praying for himself, praying for his family, praying for his country, praying for the leadership, praying for every other person for good of the country and for good of himself. And he should also ask God for forgiveness. So this is where the box ends.
With the rising temperature of close to 48 degrees Celsius under the desert sun, these pilgrims came or climbed this hill. It's so important because this is the hill where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam delivered his last sermon during his last pilgrimage, closely 14 centuries ago.
I don't know how to express myself today because this is the first time I make it. We are going to pray for myself, for my parents, for my siblings, for my state, and for my country at large, because we have a lot of challenges in Nigeria. So that now it's time for me to stand here to pray hardly for our country to be in a position it before.
In a nutshell, the day of Arafat is seen as a golden opportunity, not just for pilgrims here, but for Muslims across the world to seek for Allah's abundant mercy and, of course, to get much more closer to Him. From the Mount of Arafat, Sharif Al-Hassan, Trust TV News.
After security, where gunmen have abducted the managing director of Fuani Company, along with 3 Lebanese brothers who work for Fuani Nigeria Limited while traveling by boat in Lagos on Friday. Fuani Nigeria Limited specializes in electronics and is the sole distributor of LG and Hisense and also Maxi products in Nigeria. The brothers Abbas Fuani, Yusuf Fuani and Amtal Fuani were said to have been abducted around 6 p.m. on Friday. They were reportedly coming from their factory by boat when they were abducted. It was learned that they were abducted around Falomo Bridge while traveling from Apapa to Victoria Island. A source familiar with the incident, who spoke on condition of anonymity, said that the kidnappers had reached out demanding ransom. When contacted, the Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hudein confirmed the development. So with security, the Nigerian police forces sounded the alarm over alleged irregularities and corruption that allegedly marred the recently released list of successful candidates in the ongoing 2022-2023 police constables recruitment. This follows a deluge of complaints from unsuccessful candidates and stakeholders over the disappearance of names of those who were screened and successful up to the final stage. In a press statement on Saturday, Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi stated that scrutiny of the published list revealed several anomalies. Adejobi added that the list also contained names of candidates who had failed either the computer-based test or the physical screening, as well as those disqualified after being found medically unfit. The police spokesman revealed that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olukayode Egbetokun, had on June 10 written to the chairman of the Police Service Commission objecting to the list and citing the irregularities discovered. Adejobi disclosed that the police have dissociated themselves from the published list and called for a transparent and credible review of the process to recruit qualified, competent, trainable and productive hands into the Nigerian police force. Ten Nigerian teenage girls allegedly trafficked to Ghana for prostitution have returned home to Nigeria. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission NIDCOM chairman Abike Dabiri Erewa, who made the disclosure in a post on her X handle, said the girls who were rescued in Ghana arrived Lagos on Friday. According to her, the girls, who are mainly from Imo State, were accompanied by representatives of Imo State government. The NIDCOM chairman added that they were received and profiled by officials of National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. The girls, all under the age of 18, were reportedly lured from Nigeria to Ghana by a nameless man who has now been arrested by the police in neighboring West African country. According to the NIDCOM boss, the girls were rescued by the Nigerians in diaspora organization NIDO, an umbrella association for Nigerians living in Ghana. Now to health matters, the National Biosafety Management Agency has called on the general public to exercise caution over the recent cholera outbreak in some states across Nigeria. Head Information and Communications for NBMA, Gloria Ogbaki, in a statement on Friday in Abuja, quoted the Director General NBMA, Dr. Agnes Asabra, as saying there was need for carefulness. Asabra said NBMA, in collaboration with health authorities, was actively monitoring the situation and implementing measures to contain the spread of the disease. She also called on Nigerians to imbibe various hygiene practices such as boiling drinking water or using certified water purification methods. According to her, there is need to wash hands thoroughly with soap and water, especially before eating or preparing food. Director General also urged Nigerians to always wash their hands with soap and water after using the toilet, cook food thoroughly, and consume it while still hot. She advised that Nigerians avoid raw foods such as fruits and vegetables unless they could be peeled or washed with safe water, and to always keep the environment clean and dispose waste properly to prevent contamination. So on the cholera outbreak, the Director General of the NCDC, Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Jide Idris, has blamed the outbreak of cholera in the country on poor sanitation, personal and environmental hygiene, and lack of access to clean water. Idris, who said this while speaking on a TV program on Saturday, noted that the agency is conducting a risk assessment and alerted all the states on the outbreak. NCDC had warned the public of the increasing trend of cholera cases across the country as the rainy season intensifies. The center said from January 1st to June 11th, 2024, a total of 1,141 suspected cases and 65 confirmed cases of cholera, with 30 deaths have been reported from 96 local government areas in 30 states. It noted that the 10 states that contributed 90% of the burden of cholera include Bayelsa, Zamfara, Abia, Cross River, Bauchi, Delta, Katsina, Imo, Nasarawa, and Lagos states. The DG said the state governments must ensure access to clean water and toilets for their citizens. The Lagos State Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources has commenced the removal of structures obstructing the free flow of rainwater and causing flooding in Okezio-Gbaja Street and other parts of Okota, Oshodi, Solo local government area. This followed the commitment of the Lagos State government to ensure a cleaner Lagos and zero tolerance for building on drainage right of way. The Lagos State Commissioner of Environment, Tokunbo Wahab, made this known via his verified X handle. The Commissioner mentioned that any structure that impeded drainage systems would be promptly demolished to mitigate the risk of flooding and uphold the safety and well-being of residents.
Show me when you're watching.
Still staying with environmental matters, the Federal Capital Territory Emergency Management Department has warned of an imminent flood disaster in Jahi and Girishi districts in Abuja due to building on waterways. The Acting Director General of FEMD, Florence Wenegeme, gave the warning in Abuja on Friday after a risk assessment exercise in the areas by the department. Wenegeme said that the assessment has revealed that residents have built houses on waterways and floodplains while drainages were blocked in Jahi and Gishiri. This, according to her, can lead to flooding, which she described as a disaster waiting to happen. She explained that the risk assessment exercise was to enable FEMD to develop strategic mitigating measures against flooding and other disasters and effectively respond to emergencies. She said that FEMD would write to the Department of Development Control to visit the areas to ensure all developments in the areas were authorized and in conformity with the Abuja Master Plan. Over the years, residents of Ngwar, Dabai and Wakaiwaje community in Kano State have been dealing with recurring floods resulting in the destruction of their livelihood. Trust TV's Aisha Bashir visited the community as this year's rainy season sets in.
Every year by this time, severe floods struck the community of Ngwar Dabai, leaving widespread destruction in its wake. According to residents, the recent rain have caused significant damages to businesses and infrastructure, with the main road connecting the community to the nearby town rendered impassable.
We are facing many problems in Ungwandabai. As you can see, our roads, and the rainy season is here. Those who want to go to work spend hours here waiting for tricycles because most do not like to pass this road. We have so many problems, especially our roads, now that the rain has started. Many places, including our roads, remain flooded for a long time, and it leaves us at high risk of diseases. Last year, when the rains became too much, it even flooded our homes, leaving us trapped.
The situation has been worsened by the ongoing rainy season, which has turned the already bad roads into impassable rivers. Vehicles are unable to fly the roads, leaving residents stranded and forced to wade through the floodwaters to get to their destinations.
Sincerely, during the rainy season, we suffer a lot. The roads are always flooded. Okay, that is why tricycle riders that do not live here do not like to even come here at all. We have appealed to the government several times for help.
Meanwhile, the community members appealing to the Gwale Local Government Council to intervene and repair the roads, but so far no action has been taken. As the residents of Ungwardabai and Waikawaji continue to endure these challenges, the hope remains that their voices will be heard and tangible solutions will be implemented to reduce their plight and restore a sense of normalcy to their lives. Nana Aisha Bashir, Trust TV News, Kano.
In business, Nigeria's inflation rate increased to 33.95% in May of 2024 from 33.69% in April. The National Bureau of Statistics disclosed in its latest data that the figure represents an increase of 0.26% points when compared to the April 2024 headline inflation rate. The data also revealed that on a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 11.54% points higher compared to the rate recorded in May 2023, which was 22.41%. On the contrary, on a month-to-month basis, the headline inflation rate in May 2024 was 2.14%, which was 0.15% lower than the rate recorded in April of the same year. This, according to the NBS, means that in the month of May 2024, the rate of increase in the average price level is less than the rate of increase in the average price level in April of 2024. And away from Nigeria, over in Congo, at least 4 people have been killed in unrest in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's North Kivu province. Local officials said on Saturday after people took to the streets to protest against the surge in deadly attacks by suspected terrorists. The Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a rebel group affiliated to the Islamic State, are alleged to have killed more than 40 people in an attack on Maikengo village this week and over 80 in attacks on other villages in the province the previous week. The insecurity has fueled public frustration, leading to the killing of 2 soldiers in Lubero territory by a crowd who touched their vehicle overnight on Friday, said Lubero military administrator Elian Kiwewa. The arrest in Lubero continued into Saturday, with some residents erecting makeshift barricades, leading to a standoff with security forces, said human rights activist Fabrice Gumai. A civilian and an agent of the ANR National Intelligence Service were killed in the clashes, according to local official Julio Mabanga. A similar protest broke out in the city of Butembo on Saturday, with hundreds of youths taking to the streets wielding sticks, chanting and singing songs to denounce the widespread insecurity. And finally, in sports, Super Eagles head coach Finidi George has resigned after a poor run of games in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The former Ajax Amsterdam's forward confirmed his resignation to Channels Television. Finidi led the Eagles to a 1-1 draw against South Africa at home in Uyo and a 2-1 loss to Benin Republic in Abidjan, putting Nigeria's qualification to the World Cup in serious doubt. The 2 results extended Nigeria's winless run in the qualifiers, having previously played 2 draws under former coach Jose Peseiro. Following the poor performance of the Nigerian team in the 2 games under Finidi, there were several calls for the fans for his sack. Reacting, the head of the Nigerian Football Federation, Ibrahim Guzo, has told newsmen that he is unaware of Super Eagles coach Finidi George's reported resignation. And that's it for news updates at this hour. For more of our news, programs and documentaries, please do also follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Thank you for joining us.